The biggest thing that is holding us back today is not the lack of confidence, but is the fear of what other people think. And I've dealt with this fear for 22 years or so. So in this video, I'm going to show you why we think that way and what I learned to overcome that. So first, why do we even naturally care what other people think? So I briefly brought this up in the previous video, but this goes back thousands of years to the caveman days. In the caveman days, being a part of the group and fitting in was crucial to your survival. You did not want to be an outcast and be all on your own because, again, you wouldn't survive. It's survival of the fittest. So that was part of your natural survival instinct to do so. Now, our brains are still wired that way to this day. Obviously, it's not coming down to survival if we're fitting in or not. Now, that sounds silly and like we can laugh about it saying, it's a part of our survival instincts. But in our reality, if you think about it, consciously we can laugh at it. Like we know that we're still going to be alive if we don't fit in, if we go off on a path on our own. But subconsciously, you have to think about all the times that you're afraid to be that individual and go out on your own and not be a part of the group, because subconsciously that is still the way you live your life. Now, I say consciously and subconsciously because consciously is when we're actually thinking about it. Subconsciously is when we're doing something without even thinking about it. So in order to rewire your brain, it's going to take a lot of repetition to the point where you're consciously doing something because you chose to, and then you're subconsciously doing something because you're already in the habit of it. That's the way your brain is now wired. I mentioned dealing with this for 22 years or so, but then I realized something. I realized that nobody is worried about you. Nobody was worried about me. In public, nobody's worried about you because they're hyper fixated on themselves. When it comes to, I don't know, big career moves or big life changes, people are focused on themselves. And that was the most freeing realization that I could have came across. Now, in public, because I mentioned social anxiety and whatnot, because I used to deal with that big time. I used to always wonder if I did something weird or awkward or if this person noticed. And it's really silly when I think about it now. But in our reality, a lot of people nowadays think that way, meaning they're hyper fixated on themselves. They're not worried about the other person. Even me, I'm a very observant person in public, and I people watch. I may not be on my phone as much as the average person, so I'm looking around. But even then, I'm not just staring at somebody and judging them because I truly don't care. Like the people that are confident in themselves and not worrying about other opinions, they're not judging you either. Now, let's say you're right. Let's say, okay, everybody is judging you. All eyes are on you in public, and that's where your social anxiety is stemming from. When you can get to a point where you realize, so what? Okay, everybody's judging me. All eyes are on me. Is my life in danger? Is my family's life in danger? Well, you get what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not, it comes down to it not really being a big deal. I'm fine. You're fine. Nothing is going to happen to you. This isn't 1,000 years ago where, okay, you could lose your life because of this. Like, it's okay. One of the reasons I dealt with social anxiety was because I kept telling myself that I stuck out more than the average person. I mean, I'm a little on the taller end and other physical traits. I used to think that all eyes were on me. And then I realized, whether I'm right or wrong, who cares if all eyes are on me? Like I just mentioned, I'm fine regardless. Like nothing is changing in my personal life if all eyes are on me or if they're not. I'm just going to go about my business and be confident in who I am and how I'm walking around. I'm not hyper fixated on every little thing that I do in public or life decision that I make. It's really silly. Once I started to make that natural progression into, I don't know, curing the social anxiety or not worrying about other people, I had more realizations that came to mind to help me even more. And one of the biggest ones was that My mission in life was just to add value to other people and be pleasant to other people, make other people's lives better, days better. And that shifted the focus off of me. I stopped being so selfish, always thinking about me and just thinking about how I can be a better contribution to the world. It's a way to zoom out and not worry about yourself so much and just worry about the mission, the mission of helping other people and just being a pleasant person, adding to the well-being of other people. One of my biggest questions that I always ask myself in a lot of different situations is, what would the goal achieved self do in this situation? And that also helps me when it came to social anxiety and worrying about the opinions of other people. The goal achieved self, meaning, and I mentioned this a lot of times, but meaning the version of yourself who has accomplished all of your current goals and the person who you strive to be. How would this person walk into this room? What type of energy would they have? How do they sound? How do they talk to people? How do they feel about themselves? It can get really nitpicky. You can ask yourself 100 different questions as far as how this person would act, but when it comes down to it, you have to become that person. When you write your goals down on paper, you don't just accomplish those goals and then boom, you're that person. You're becoming that person along the journey, along the process. So you're becoming. It's not a end goal where I'm finally that person. It's as you get closer, you're knocking off goals on your checklist, you're slowly becoming the goal achieved self. So when it comes down to it, you may ask yourself that a dozen times throughout the day because it's really important. You have to become in order to achieve those goals on your list. Hopefully this video was helpful. Again, I appreciate you watching. If it was helpful, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you at the next one.